As I said in an earlier video, a goal of mine was to branch out to other countries to discover more lesser known crimes that have taken place around the world. This case is fairly well known in the country where it happened, but perhaps not so well known everywhere else. This case takes place in Nepal, and unfortunately, there aren't a great deal of images to use for this case. Khyati Shrestha was a 19-year-old woman who lived in Nepal. She was highly intelligent and had dreams to become a pilot. Her parents knew of her potential and greatly believed in her. So much in fact, they moved away from their home city to the capital Kathmandu, which was hundreds of miles away. They moved there just so Khyati could attend a better college. In Kathmandu, the family moved into an apartment owned by a 43-year-old man named Biren. Biren was also a tutor, and on occasion, he would tutor Khyati. The family and Biren became somewhat close, but after a year of living in his apartment, he decided he wanted to sell up. The family needed to move once more. They were able to find another place that was closer to Khyati's college. On the morning of the 5th of June 2009, Khyati's phone rang. On the other end was a woman, and this woman told Khyati that she had been randomly selected by the magazine Voice of Women to collect a prize. The prize was 20,000 rupees and a free trip to the city of Pokhara. The woman said that if Khyati wanted to claim the prize, she would need to meet her at a place called Putalisirac. Khyati was of course thrilled by the prospect of winning such a prize, but was also a little bit skeptical. Khyati's parents asked a male friend and neighbour if they would go with her to collect the prize. The neighbour agreed, and off they went. Khyati and the friend arrived at the destination. They were met by a young woman who said that all Khyati needed to do was fill out some legal forms and the prize would be hers. Upon seeing this young woman, Khyati and the friend felt at ease that the competition was legitimate and that she would be safe. Feeling satisfied, the friend left. Khyati's parents called her to make sure everything was okay and to ask about the prize. They rang her and Khyati answered. She told her parents that she was in a room drinking coffee and filling out the necessary paperwork to claim the prize. Everything seemed to be fine, but then hours passed after this phone call and Khyati still hadn't come home. Her parents called her again, but this time, she didn't pick up the phone. They waited and waited, hoping to hear from their daughter. Later that night, the neighbour who had gone with Khyati to collect the prize contacted the parents. They had received a truly chilling message from Khyati's phone number. The message was allegedly from a notorious gang known in the area, and they said that Khyati had been kidnapped, and that if they wanted to see her again, they would need to pay 1 million rupees, which is around £10,000. They also said that if they try and contact the police, Khyati would be killed. Khyati's parents agreed to pay the ransom and not to tell the police. The family were planning on sending Khyati to America so she could study there. They had saved a large sum of money to do this, and now it would be used to pay the ransom. This gang demanded that Khyati's cousin drop off the money 180 kilometers away at the Indo-Nepalese border. The cousin made it to the destination, but nobody was there to collect the money. This happened a number of times over the next couple of days. They would be told to meet the gang at a town on the border of India, but every time nobody would show up. Then another location was given to the family, so on the 17th of June, Khyati's mother went to Kakabita with a family friend. They both stayed in a hotel there the day before the drop-off was supposed to happen. By this time, a whole 12 days had passed since Khyati had been taken. At this hotel, Khyati's mother saw somebody that she didn't expect to see. Their old landlord and Khyati's old tutor, Biren. She told the rest of the family that she believed that he was somehow involved in the kidnap. The family agreed to just stick to the plan, hand over the money, get Khyati home, and then tell the police so that they can get justice for their daughter. If Biren really was involved, they could deal with that once Khyati was home safe and sound. So the following day rolled around, another drop-off. The friend who had gone with Khyati's mother agreed that he would go and take the money to the kidnapper. And this time, the kidnapper showed up. The friend handed over the money, but as he did, he recognized the kidnapper. Sensing that something was off, the kidnapper panicked and tried to attack him. The friend managed to fight him off and was able to escape. He returned to Khyati's mother and told her that he had given the kidnapper the money, but that he also believed him to be Biren. Khyati's mother was hopeful that he would uphold his part of the deal. He had the money, now Khyati should be released. They returned to Kathmandu and a couple of days passed, but still, there was no sign of Khyati. The family now contacted the police. They told the police that they had suspicions about their old landlord Biren. They explained that they had no actual evidence that he was involved, but that when they dropped off the ransom money, they had seen him at the hotel they were staying at, and this hotel was hundreds of miles away from Kathmandu where he lived. It made no sense for Biren to be at that exact location on that exact day, so far away. On the 21st of June, the police found Biren back in Kathmandu and brought him in for questioning. The police asked Biren if he had any involvement in the kidnapping of Khyati, to which he denied. But as the questions went on, he eventually confessed. He told the investigators that he had a gambling problem and that this gambling problem had resulted in him racking up some rather hefty debts. He explained that he needed to pay off these debts and that he knew Khyati's parents had put away money for her education in America. Biren came up with a plan to kidnap Khyati and demand the ransom money from her parents, knowing full well that they would quickly pay up. His plan was to get the money and then leave the country soon after to avoid detection. To pull off this plan, he sought help from an ex-student, a 16-year-old named Marina Shakya. Marina was the one who had spoken to Khyati on the phone. Biren had 2 children and was married, but despite this, he was having an inappropriate relationship with Marina and was able to get her to go along with the plan. Marina met Khyati pretending to be a member of staff from the magazine, knowing full well that a young woman would make her feel at ease. Marina brought Khyati to a flat and made her some coffee. It's around this time when Khyati's parents phoned her to check that everything was okay. After this, she was given a cold drink that was laced with sedatives, which rendered her unconscious. Khyati regained consciousness earlier than anticipated, and when she awoke, she began to scream. Biren quickly grabbed Khyati and put a chloroform cloth over her mouth, but Biren had used too much chloroform. The excessive amount killed Khyati. Realizing what he had done, Biren quickly went to work dismembering Khyati's body. He sawed her body into numerous pieces. He removed her arms and legs and chopped those into different pieces and cut through her neck to remove her head. Biren then began dumping Khyati's remains in different locations all over Nepal to make it harder for the police to solve. Before Khyati's parents had alerted the authorities, some human legs had been found in a box. It was later confirmed that those legs did indeed belong to Khyati. A search began to find Khyati's remains so she could be laid to rest. Khyati's hands were found and they were cut into 2 parts. One of her legs was cut into 3 pieces and the other leg was cut into 2. Biren admitted that he threw Khyati's torso into a stream, which was thankfully able to be recovered. The police were also able to recover Khyati's head, which was found 19 days after the kidnapping had taken place. Once the public heard about this gruesome crime, they became enraged. They demanded the restoration of capital punishment for the 2. The following year, the trial began. The court heard of the gruesome details and the way they had so cruelly lured an unsuspecting young woman. Biren had already killed Khyati when he told her parents to travel all over Nepal with the money to get her back, knowing full well that this would never happen. Biren was sentenced to 39 years. With him being 43 when arrested, it's likely he will never be free again. Marina was 16 when she was arrested, and for her part of the crime she was given a 34-year sentence. While serving her sentence, she was able to gain an education, and because of her good behaviour, she was released in 2020. Sadly, cases of promising young people being killed is all too common. I've lost count of how many cases I've covered where ambitious and good young people have been killed for the most selfish of reasons, and of course, it won't be the last.